Hello everybody. This video is not going to have any Golden Doodle footage. It may be at the end if it uploads quick enough. I took a little bit of footage. But we had an ice storm this week where we live. We live in southern Illinois, and quite a bit of the state, up to halfway, and the surrounding states had ice. And you can see trees are down. There's very, very heavy ice on everything. The roads are surprisingly clear on the interstate. This was our first time to go out and brave the elements. But our son called us this night and said, I have 2 trees down in my driveway. And here is my son on his tractor. Now, you might ask why this is such an emergency to remove this at night. But my son is a dialysis patient. He's awaiting a kidney transplant. Some of you know that from watching the channel. And so we had to get this tree out of the road so he could get dialysis the next morning. Also, his fiance has to work. She has a very important job. She cannot call in to this job generally. I mean, it's very important that she be there. So after I think it was around 7 o'clock this happened, or they discovered it, so we came down there. And by the time we got there, it was completely dark. And so my first son, and pet dad had the tractor out trying to remove this thing. And this video is about all of that. I have left the background noise in, and I hope you can hear some of it. I mean, it was kind of hard for me to video. It was very bitterly cold. And this happened, I think, last night. Yeah. And so I've edited out a lot of the camera shaking around and moving around because I was so cold I could not hardly hold my phone still. But I decided to capture it on video to just let you see in real time with just a little bit of the editing out. That was just the same thing, hooking up chains and shaking around on the camera, so that you can see what all they went through. I was so proud of both of them because Pet Dad's not a young man anymore, and son 1 is a dialysis patient, and right now his blood count is down, which is part of the plague of being on dialysis, and he's very weak, but you would never know what to talk to him. He stays positive, he goes at it, does what he can. And he's got his dad in the bucket of this tractor trying to hook up chains. Right there he is. Hook up chains around this tree to pull it down. The reason they didn't want to just saw it down immediately is because of the way it was laying and the forks were laying. And it was a huge tree. They were afraid it would buck back on him, on Jay, my son, or that it would buck back on Pet Dad. We didn't know what it would do. And they have had some experience taking down trees, so that's why they chose to do it the way they did. So watch, and I'll cut in every once in a while for perspective on what's going on. I have no idea why, but the first little bit of this video, it didn't record any of the sound. I don't know if it was my phone was going through my Apple CarPlay into the car. Courtney was sitting in there. She might have heard me talking, I don't know. But I didn't know until I started editing this video. So I'll have to tell you, this tree was so thick and so dense with vines and ice and little bitty limbs. When we first got there, Pet Dad cut up everything he could to get us where we could get close enough to this tree to drag off the big limbs or to pull it down, either one. So we worked some, and I didn't even think to video then. But they were working on the tree at this point, trying to get a hold of it. They sawed on it. They cut stuff off with the chainsaw, trying to get it to where they could pull it down. And I just can't tell you how massive this tree is. The main trunk right there doesn't look that big, but there was that much more of the tree sticking out into the field beside of it. I mean, it was such a long, tall tree with forks all in it. And it was really dangerous to mess with. But at this point, everybody's trees were down, and their road is private because their neighbors share the road, and their other neighbor that would have probably been able to help was in Buffalo, New York, so he wasn't there to help. And so it was just us, but we knocked it out. And mostly the men did, and I appreciate them. So keep watching to see what happens. Earlier this week, son 1 and I went to Chicago. Well, not this week. It was, at the end of this week. Went to Chicago to some doctor's appointments with him, and my first time driving in downtown Chicago, Illinois, started with a blizzard about an hour and a half out. And with his guidance and my all-wheel drive GMC Acadia, we made it through that. So, needless to say, back home and in an ice storm, I'm over winter. And I used to actually love the winter weather. I loved ice. I loved snowstorms. Don't care how deep they are, because I work for a school, and when it's bad, we get school called off, so I don't have to go out in it. I think the sound's about to work, so I'm going to shut up and let this go, and then I'll voice over if I need to. I tried my best to get Pet Dad to voice over for me, but he won't do it. He's shy. All through this video, you'll hear them discussing and rediscussing what to try next.
The big tree.
And where to put the chain or where to saw, whatever. So you'll hear them trying to regroup and make new plans. I tell you, again, I am so proud of them. They had every reason in the world to try to pay somebody, but it was too late at night, and we had to get son 1 to dialysis this morning and Courtney to work. So I am thankful for the men in my family. Never been so proud. I'm always proud, but I'm so proud of them. Thank you, men in my family.
I think they're wrapping a chain around the tree trunk to try to drag it down where they can lay it on the road, because it's trying to spring.
So at this point, even me being there, all I could see was the steam from Pet Dad's breath and from son 1's breath. I mean, even there, you couldn't really see him through all that foliage. But that's, I think, Pet Dad, on the ground, because son 1, we don't want him walking on ice, because he just had surgery on his arm for his dialysis fistula, and we didn't want that to fail with impact. And really, he was too weak. So he's the driver, Pet Dad's on the ground. See the steam from him breathing.
Put the chain around the tree. There he is breathing. See him breathing? It is cold out here.
I couldn't really see him. There they are, raising Pet Dad up, I think, in the bucket of the tractor. Yeah, he's moving around. He's going to try to get up high enough to saw this tree down in a safe place. But again, the springiness of that tree and not knowing, because it had literally uprooted out of the creek bed, and not knowing what it was going to do, they couldn't take the chance.
That man right there is something else. He can do anything. And he will do anything for his family. husband's got the chain around the tree trunk, trying to get it loose. Jay's operating the tractor. What happens when you have a catastrophic ice storm. I think they're about to try to jerk it backwards. Still springing.
I don't know if you were able to hear it, but all the time they were doing this, you could hear trees cracking and falling or limbs falling in the background. Very nerve-wracking. I'll probably mention this in other places in the video and have forgotten that I did. But this tree, the top of it was way out in the field. This was not even, this was a small portion of this big tree. The top of it was digging in the ground and the other end of it was springing because it was completely uprooted. So that's why he wasn't able to get a good bind on that trunk to break it in two, but eventually he did. This isn't really a Golden Doodle video, but I do have to say I got that new bathing system and tried it now twice. And in the next video, hopefully that's going to show at least some information about this bathing system that will change your life. And we literally have $30 tied up at, no, $50 because we bought extra canisters, tied up in that bathing system, and it is, I bathed all 3 dogs in like a half an hour the other day. That thing is amazing. But more on that on a subsequent video. Back to the men trying to remove a massive fallen tree, 2 trees actually, that fell during our ice storm.
That's the bucket of the tractor right there. And they're messing around in the bucket. Put the chain over this limb. That is a big tree.
the video is not able to show you, but this driveway right in this area, it's a very, very good driveway, very well gravelled and graded, but on both sides, right in this area, there's a creek. On one side, it's pretty deep, and then on the other side, there's just a gully. So either way, if he moves the wrong way, he could slide off in either side of that. And I was so nervous that that would happen. But of course, in pure son wanted head dad fashion, they guided each other, and they were able to be safe and make sure they didn't get too far, even though I thought they would. And also, I was worried that that tree would buck backwards and fall in son one's lap, but it never did.
Sorry about moving the camera so much. I'm freezing. Moving the chain down again. See the chain. Right there. Lord, I just pray that you'll watch over my husband and my son, keep your hand upon them, keep them safe. Have angels come and help them pull this thing down. Send strong angels to help them get it down, Lord. And I will give you the praise in Jesus' name. Help us, Lord, tonight. Stay tuned. Almost went. Strong angels, Lord. DJ just a little bit more so he can get it. You can see that it's stuck right there. In fact, I'm gonna get back by the truck in case that thing's longer than it looks. I don't think this video makes you appreciate just how big this tree is. It's way down in that ditch, way over there in the woods. Just won't do it. Oh, almost. Yes. Bunch more of it broke off. Thank God. Thank you, Jesus. One more limb. Pushing this first limb that just broke, trying to push it out of the way down into the creek or whatever. These are getting it. You may have to cut it up with a chainsaw a little bit more to get to it, get the road cleared. Courtney has to go to work in the morning and Jay has dialysis.
This is part of that situation I said where he was pushing the limbs down into the gully beside of the road. I was so afraid that he'd get too far because it's so dark.
Far enough, Jay.
And it's so slippery out there. I mean, I can't tell you how slick that is with that snow on top. And I was worried that he would go down a little too far, but he watched and he was careful and he was safe. So, never slipped the tractor off in there. One time I was a little worried, but mostly it was good.
I think we might go and be chainsawing it some more. Oh no. How's it going there, Dad?
One tough limb.
So it looks like that's all of the chainsaw time he's going to have to put in. The rest of it's just going to be brute strength from that tractor.
There goes my man.
And moving the chain.
Back over there, chain up the last log. Hopefully with this will get it. That stuff's hard to walk in right there. I mean, it is hard to walk through that. It's all full of ice and very tight vines and things. This won't be zoomed in, but I want to see the limb fall when it finally comes down. We're picking it up. Maybe James hooking a chain around this limb. Jay at the tractor helm. tree is hit just like rubber. My goodness. Something crackle inside of me. I hope there's not another tree wanting to come down. Looks like there's smoke rolling out of the tractor. Look at that. We didn't cram a limb through something. Something. He said, oh, I heard him say, oh, something. Not gonna do it. I don't know what they're gonna do. Truck to get warm. That's the windshield dripping down. What you're seeing. So here I climbed up in the truck for two reasons. One, I don't know which tree's going to come with this thing. And two, I was so cold I couldn't feel my feet anymore. So I got in Pet Dad's truck to warm up just for a few minutes. And wouldn't you know, the thing falls right about there.
So I jumped out. And here is what ensued: the rejoicing and happiness for the big tree to be taken down just like Goliath.
Got it hung up on his tractor. Oh boy. There we go. Now. The path is cleared. Wow. Here is where that thing was, if you can see. See that white looking end of that tree? I gotta move. He's about to show these logs, I think.
So we got chattering back and forth right through here, so I muted the camera, muted the voice. It's just chatting. At this point, Courtney, I guess she saw it fall, so she's coming. She was warming up. She's coming to see if she needs to help pick up anything. It looks like the tractor's going to get most of it, but this is how we've been doing. Just all of us just doing what we can. I'm watching Son 1 and Pet Dad trying to get the rest of the driveway passable. He's shoving all the logs off into that side is the beginning of the creek drainage, kind of like, not the culvert part. But he's picking up the stuff that's just too big to pick up by hand without falling down, because you can't hardly walk without dragging limbs, large limbs. And so here's where my son's pushing those pretty heavy limbs off into the sides. That's one of the times I thought he was going to go too far and maybe slide off. But I'm a female who has never operated a tractor, really. I've driven them a couple of times, but not like that, not in the dark. And Pet Dad's just kind of helping him see where he can't see and trying to move what he can move. Look at them. I am so proud of my family. I've seen people that wouldn't have a clue if something like this happened. And you know, they are both out there in the night, and here comes Courtney trying to do what they can do. So proud. While they're finishing up and doing whatever they can do, and I'm videoing what they're doing, I'll go ahead and throw in here, with just a little bit of time left on this video, I plan on the next videos being about the bathing system and how I deal with home bathing when my grooming tub is unhooked for the winter, since it's out on my back deck, and to show how wonderful that is, what a work saver that is. I would highly recommend that everybody get that bathing system to bathe their animals, cats, dogs, whatever.
Good filler for your channel, doesn't it?
Oh. Watch out, don't run over Courtney. I told him don't run over Courtney. I'm shivering. I'm shivering so bad this camera's going to move.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
There's where that tree was stuck. See that, Courtney, how that is up there? It just kept tearing instead of breaking. It was just rock. It wouldn't break. And then he just get mad and yank on it when it breaks.
Hold on, you're recording, ain't you?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say it.
Well, let me get done showing Jay, and then I'll turn it off. So there we are. The tree is out of the way for now. Have a good night.